If you're enjoying our content and want to see more, please subscribe to our podcast on our YouTube channel. Your subscription will not only keep you updated with our latest episodes, but also help us grow and expand our ministry. Thank you for your support.
And so we're going back and forth, and he's like, "Leave me alone, get out of my face, leave me alone." And I'm like, "No, I'm this is new to me." So I'm like, "No, we need to talk." So I'm on the edge of our stairs, coming out of the bedroom, and he says, "Leave me alone." And I'm like, "No, we need to." He's like, "Leave me alone," and he pushed me, and I fell down the stairs.
Welcome to the Call by God podcast with Adney Godin and myself, Nixon Sylvain. This show is about dialogues of biblical characters and testimonies of Christians who submitted to the will of God. Each week, we bring on one guest so that they can share their story of how they were called by God. I hope this show inspires you. Enjoy.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. And the reason I asked you that question, it literally was stirring in my spirit because I'm like, as a little girl, you lose a parent and you're strong. So it's like, when does the grief overtake you in that strength, right? So here it is, you are about to get married and you have to go back to when he wasn't there for those different milestones to now as you're preparing to be someone's wife. So your dad wasn't even there to vet the person that you're about to marry. Your dad wasn't even there to say, hey, I don't think this is a right decision for you, right? So you know where we're going now, right? You're about to get married. When you met this person, because I know the story. I know the story. I want you to share from when you met your ex-husband to when you married your husband to when it led to divorce. So you're giving us the meeting point, everything that happened, who was in your ears, getting engaged to, yeah, we can't be together no more type situation.
Right. We actually worked together. The company I worked for, I had been there probably a couple of years, and then he started working there. And immediately, he just, I think it was just my demeanor and my character. I was just very, um, our sister Elizabeth, our sister Liz, she teases me all the time. She says, "Sis, you just walk in the building for worship service and you are focused. You are not looking at anyone or you smile and you say hi and you hug, but because you're a worker, you're focused." And so that was me even then, at 24, at the time, I was just focused. And I remember uh, going into his training class, and I was a part of the management team. And so, I introduced myself and we were talking, and he asked me a question that was kind of not witty, but he was kind of, trying to get a rise out of me, kind of, question something I had said, and so I made a little witty, snappy comeback. And everyone was like, "Ooh." I wasn't rude, but you could tell he was used to testing, someone. Very smart, very intelligent. And so it was kind of like in that moment when I was able to, match the energy. He became curious. Looking back on that now, he had already set in place This is a challenge. And so I'm in management. He's a customer service rep at the time. He used to try to talk to me, and I would just keep walking. Um, but he wasn't defeated. He just kept on. Um, and then I remember him asking me. He said, "Well, I'm new, to Texas." He's from Louisiana. He's like, I've only been here, maybe 6 months. Uh, I need to find an apartment. I'm living with my cousin right now, and I need to find an apartment. Would you help me?" And I said, that's a weird request. I said, "Oh, okay, I guess I could help you, find an apartment." Um, I never did. It just, never worked out. I probably, just ignored him or didn't respond. Um, but it wasn't until maybe a few months later, he said, "Just let me just take you out to dinner or a movie." And I said, "Oh, okay, just dinner and a movie." Um, and after that, and I remember falling asleep in the movie. And he said, I normally, someone that would do that, I would not have contacted them again. But he says, I don't know. It's just something about you. So it was the pursuit. Um, and me at the time really not understanding courtship the way God intended. Because we don't have a biblical reference. We don't have any instructions on how to date or how to court. You are either betrothed or, you know, what we read, they're already a wife. Um, but I didn't understand anything. So I thought the pursuit was cute. I was flattered that he's going out of his way to, impress me. But I made it challenging for him, which I shouldn't have. I know that now. But I made it challenging for him in letting him know I am a member of the body of Christ, the Church of Christ, and you don't have a chance unless you are a member of the body. And that was another challenge for him. He attended worship services with me. He attended Bible studies with me. And probably 7 months into us dating, he was baptized. So 2 months after that, we became engaged. 9 months. We were married, probably, I think it was exactly 1 year, almost. I don't know if it was today, but it was exactly 1 year from the time we went out on that first date. We were married, I believe it was that February of 99. That May, we both accepted a transfer with the company we were working for to, move to Missouri and open and start a new call center. So we moved. We were married. I would say engaged, married, moved, like all within, right at 6 months maybe. And, there was a group of us, so we were familiar with everyone. We really we didn't have any family there, but we had our work family. And we moved to this new area. Most of our coworkers, lived on the same street because this was a new area where they had, duplexes. And everything was, going pretty well. We're newlyweds, and we're in St. Joseph, Missouri, which was 45 minutes north of Kansas City. And I thought, okay, this is nice. we were there, I would say maybe about 3 months. And he went out with some coworkers. And, that wasn't a big deal. I knew everyone, but I was at home. And he didn't get in until about 2 o'clock in the morning. And I was asleep, but I knew, it was late. He wasn't there at 10, 11, 12. So I remember it was about 2 o'clock in the morning. I just he woke me up coming in, and I remember opening my eyes and looking at the clock. Well, I didn't say anything. And the next morning, I woke up and I just, my spirit was just, it was disturbed. And so I asked him, I said, where were you? He was like, I was out. I said, well, I know you were out, but 2 o'clock in the morning, you didn't call or anything, we just had a landline then. And he said, call you for what? You knew where I was. You knew, who I was with. I said, well, that's not the point. And so we were arguing, and, our bedroom was upstairs. And so, he's trying to walk out of the room. And I'm like, no, we need to have a discussion. We're married, and you just don't stay out, until 2 o'clock in the morning, and you don't feel like you owe me an explanation. And so we're going back and forth, and he's like, leave me alone, get out of my face, leave me alone. And I'm like, no, this is new to me. So I'm like, no, we need to talk. So I'm on the edge of our stairs, coming out of the bedroom. And he says, leave me alone. And I'm like, no, we need to. He's like, leave me alone. And he pushed me, and I fell down the stairs. And I'm at the bottom of the stairs, and I'm just, I'm moving my arms, my legs, because because I know when I hit the bottom of these stairs, something's going to be broken. And, the wind was knocked out of me. And so I just kind of looked up, and he looked down the stairs, and I'm thinking he's, going to run down the stairs. Oh my goodness, are you okay? I didn't mean to, but he just looked down the stairs, and he said, I told you to leave me alone. And he closed the bedroom door. That was the beginning of the end. He never touched me again after that for some time. I remember calling my mom that day and saying, I'm coming home now. And my mom said, what happened? What's going on? I'm coming home. I'm just, and my mom is saying, what's going on? You're married. You can't come home. Did you have a fight? Did you have an argument? And my mom is remarried at this time. So my stepdad, James, he's in the background. What's going on? What's wrong? What happened? And so she's like, let me talk to her, And I told my mom what happened. She said, are you okay? I said, yeah, I'm fine. She said, anything broken? You have to go to the hospital. I said, Mom, no, I'm fine. Fortunately, thank God I'm okay. And what my mom told me next was it was heartbreaking. She said, honey, you're married. You're married. You made a vow before God. She said, I'm glad you're okay. But she said, you're going to have to work this out.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Thank you for making it midway through this episode. We want to take a moment to sincerely thank each and every one of you who have been supporting our show. Your encouragement and positive feedback mean the world to us. We We want to continue to bring you inspiring and thought-provoking content each week, and that's where we need your help. We kindly ask you to support our podcast by clicking on the link provided in the description below. Your support will enable us to grow, reach a wider audience, and continue to produce the quality content you enjoy. We truly appreciate your support and value your contribution to the Call by God podcast. Together, let's inspire and uplift others in their faith journey. Thank you once again for your continued support, and we look forward to bringing you more enlightening episodes in the future. God bless.
I said, okay, all right, I'm devastated. I'm devastated because I'm baby girl. My room should just be, ready for me to come back whenever I want. And I couldn't even speak. I couldn't even talk. And I just remember just mumbling, when you're on the verge of crying and your lips are curled and you're trembling. And I just said, okay. And I just, I remember hanging up the phone. But he never touched me during the time that we were there. But he became very distant, very distant. We had our moments that were okay. But it was maybe a year after we had been there. He was let go from the position. And he told me, I'm moving back to Texas. Now, in between this time, I came to find out that he was cheating with a coworker. And I did confront him about that. And I remember he punched a hole in the wall, but I confronted him about that. But after what happened, pushing me down the stairs, him punching the hole in the wall, I knew that either I had to leave or I had to take it. And I didn't push him too much after that because I was scared of what he would do. But what was even more terrifying was breaking my vow of marriage that I made to God. So I was willing to stay in the marriage and suffer because I didn't want to break that vow. I didn't want to disappoint God. So I was willing to just let him do whatever he wanted to do. And I didn't want to get him angry. But fast forward to him being let go, he said, I'm moving back to Texas. And I said, well, I love my job here. I don't want to move back to Texas. So he says, well, you can stay here. I'm moving back. I said, okay. So he found another job here in Texas. I stayed there about a year. I moved out of our place where we were and got a little, 2-bedroom. It was real cheap back then. I think I was paying like $325 a month. And I stayed there for a year working. And then, we always talked, every day. And then he says, okay, I want you to come to Texas. It doesn't make sense for you to stay there. Of course, he was, talked to by his mom and dad about, how he left me there and that I was his wife and I didn't need to be there by myself. So he did tell me, he said, okay, you're coming back to Texas, with me. And after we talked and mended some things, he did come, and move me back. So when we moved back, I didn't work. He didn't want me to work. That was another sign. I thought, oh, he doesn't want me to work. That's okay. I thought that was cute. No, It was just, a sign of control. So I didn't work when I moved back here. He was working, and another incident happened where he was out with some coworkers. Didn't come in until late. And I said, okay, this has to be a conversation, because at this point I feel vulnerable because I'm depending on him. So my approach wasn't as aggressive as it was, let's say 2 years ago. But I did go to him when he came in. I didn't go to bed. I stayed up. And it was probably about 1 o'clock, because he got off at, 5. And he did tell me he was going out with coworkers. Okay, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. So he comes in. Obviously, he's inebriated. And I said, okay, I can't do this. I can't do this anymore. I'm not working. I'm here. I don't mind you going out with your coworkers, and I understand that clients come in and you have to, you want to meet. I said, but 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm approaching it really. I'm being really ginger. I'm being gentle. And I said, what's going on? And he gets in my face and he's basically like, tell you anything. Expletive, expletive. I said, no, you're going to tell me where you've been. This doesn't make any sense. I can't do this anymore. And I did I nudged him in the head with my finger. Well, he hauled off and decked me in the eye. And I mean, I feel my face is on fire. I've never been punched. And I'm like holding my face, and I jump up and I grab my phone, because I'm like, I'm calling my sisters. This is it. You're in trouble now. He grabbed my phone and threw it up against the wall, and it broke. He was like, you're not going anywhere. And now I'm scared. Now I'm scared. So I I managed to go outside. Um, and I actually ended up going up the street, and they still had payphones. Or at least it was one payphone in that area. And I remember going to the car and I got some change, and I went up the street, because I told him, I said, I just need, to get away. I just need some fresh air. But I went up the street and I called my sister, and I said, he hit me. And she said, okay, where are you? And I told her, and she picked me up, and she said, we're not going to talk. She didn't talk to me all the way back to her apartment. She put me in the spare bedroom. Her husband was sitting up, waiting. And when we came in, she said, just let her go to sleep. We'll talk in the morning. So I went to sleep. Of course, she, gave me some whatever frozen. It wasn't frozen peas. She gave me something for my eye. And the next morning I woke up, and she took off from work. She said, okay, this is it. What are you going to do? She said, I'm not going to call mom. And James, our stepdad. She said, I'm not going to call them. She said, but you need to leave. She said, I can't see this. Um, and he called her, harassing her, where's my wife? She's not going to leave. You can't keep her. And my sister's going back and forth with him. Yeah, you come over here. Come on. Because I'm not letting her go. And you can come over here if you want to. Um, and then after a day of me sitting there, um, I started feeling that guilt. I can't leave him. I can't break my vow. I can't do it. Um, and so I told my sister later that day, I said, I'm going back. And she's like, are you kidding me? I said, you know, I shouldn't have nudged him in the forehead. I'm putting it on me. And she said, okay. Um, she said, I can't make you stay. I can't make you stay. She said, I wish I could. But she told me, she said, this is not going to stop. It will not stop. And I said, I just won't make him angry anymore. And she said, okay. Okay. She said, I can't make you stay. She said, you'll have to work this out. Um, so I ended up, she dropped me off. And I went in, and, of course he was already home. Cause I didn't have keys or anything cause I left. So he was, you know, very remorseful, apologetic. He cooked, uh, let me see your eye. You know, he was just trying to make everything better. I'm so, so sorry. I'm not going to do it anymore. And so this is new for me. I haven't heard this, except on TV or movies, but I'm thinking he's for real. Um, and I said, I can't, I just feel like I'm just kind of losing myself. He was like, well, what do you want to do? We're going to make this right. Um, and I said, well, first of all, I want a job. I'm going to start working. And, I want to go back to school. He was like, okay, we'll do it. So I ended up, uh, being hired on, um, as a parole officer. And because that's my background is law enforcement. And, I, uh, went back to school, to work on my master's, in counseling. And, uh, everything was good from that point. And then maybe about, uh, 2 years later, yeah, I was, I wanted to start having children. And so he was like, okay. I knew it was going to be difficult. I was told at, a very early age that infertility was going to, just be something I had to deal with. So we tried, for, about a year. And, then I got pregnant with, uh, with TJ. And I actually got pregnant with twins. So a boy and a girl. And, he was great during my pregnancy. Um, and then 5 years, not 5 years, 5 months into, my pregnancy, I went into preterm labor. And, that's when I, had TJ and Mackenzie. But, Mackenzie, you know, after they were born, um, she didn't survive. Yeah. So, that that was another rough point in our marriage. It was hidden, it was unspoken, but that started just another, I guess you say, episode of him, cheating, um, and at that point, I just became numb.
That's it for now. But before we go, please continue to listen, subscribe, and share our podcast. Also, if you want to support our show, please scroll down to the bottom of the show notes and click on the link that says Buy Me a Coffee. We would greatly appreciate it. Thank you for listening. And remember, God is good all the time, and all the time, God is good. And also, Jesus Christ loves you. Thank you. Wait, there's more. What if today was your last day on earth? Would you be ready to meet your Maker? Well, Jesus Christ has given us the good news. He told his disciples in Mark 16:15-16, and he said to them, "Go into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature. He who believes and is baptized will be saved, but he who does not believe will be condemned." Jesus Christ has instructed his children to share and preach the gospel, which is the good news, which means that Jesus Christ came and that he was sacrificed, he was buried, and he rose on the third day. By believing and by repenting and confessing and being baptized, you will be saved. So it is your choice. Jesus Christ will not force you. You've heard the message, you heard personal testimonies, but this is your opportunity to give your life to Christ. Don't wait until tomorrow, because tomorrow is not promised. So I hope you submit to the will of God and give your soul to Christ. Be blessed.